All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99. I am back with another video. All right, y'all, back with another quick rankings update video. This one's going to be a little bit different. I'm not really going to be going over the changes of all the women's divisions. I'm actually just going to be going over the women's flyweight division because there was a change made at the top that I just think was kind of strange. And I'm going to be going over the men's pound for pound just a little bit just to give y'all my thoughts because a lot of y'all been talking about this. Some of y'all asked me about how I feel who is still the pound for pound #1 man in the UFC. So I'll give y'all my thoughts on that real quick. But we can look at the strawweight division too before I get up out of here, as well. Not many changes were made in the women's strawweight division as well. So, I just kind of go over it and say this is who should be fighting who. But real quick, looking at the women's flyweight division, everything is pretty much the same except at the top two. So I started number 10. Of course, number 10 is Erin Blanchfield, going to be fighting Jessica Andrade this Saturday. Number 9, Andrea Lee, who's going to be fighting Macy Barber in a couple months, or about a month now. Then you got Jennifer Maia, who's going to be fighting Casey O'Neill in about a month. 7 is Viviane Araújo. 6, Lauren Murphy. 5 is Alexa Grasso, taking on the champ in a few more weeks. Number 4, Caitlin Kagan. Number 3, Jessica Andrade. And now, number 2 is Manon Fiorot. And number 1 is Taila Santos. And, of course, Bullet is the champ. So right there, that little change, I'm not really nitpicking. I'm just kind of wondering how that came about, especially with more so, not Manon Fiorot, but more so the situation with Taila Santos. Like, what did Taila Santos do to get elevated to #1? Like, it doesn't really seem like she's in the best graces with the UFC right now with some of the choices she's been making. So how does she get to be #1? I mean, #1, first off, she hasn't fought since Valentina Shevchenko, since last summer, right? Manon hasn't been that inactive. Manon hasn't been gone that long. She just had her surgery, and it's been just like a regular turnaround time for her right now, So I don't see how she would drop down and Taila Santos would elevate without even having a fight when Manon did beat the #1 contender in Caitlin Kagan. So that spot should still rightfully be Manon's until maybe like another 8 or 9 months, right? Then she would have to give that spot up, or at least until Taila Santos fights somebody. And with that being said, Taila Santos, like I said, is probably making the UFC a little bit mad now because she just pulled out of this fight coming up this Saturday against Erin Blanchfield. So how can she elevate? She didn't beat Erin Blanchfield. She didn't beat anybody else. So how do you elevate off of a pull out of a fight and inactivity? I don't know. I mean, Taila does look like the more credible opponent, credible contender when it comes down to it, because she has been calling out Valentina, but call outs don't get you a rematch. Because if it did, she would be fighting Valentina in March instead of Alexa Grasso, right? The UFC would have made that happen. So that's really the only disagreement I have, with this flyweight ranking right now, is just dropping Manon down to #2 and putting Taila Santos at #1, especially if they're not going to make the rematch. Why do that, right? So, yeah, Taila Santos, she's just kind of in a place where I'm like, all right, you're #1, but you're not really doing anything to really secure it at this point. You're not really heavily promoting a potential rematch between Valentina enough. You pulling out of this fight now, it's definitely going to put you at the back of the line, maybe sometime towards the end of this year, right? Because, Valentina has to fight Grasso, possibly Manon before Taila. So with the moves that Tyler's been making, even though she's securing this #1 spot by not doing anything, she's not really in a position to be fighting Valentina anytime soon, right? Because a lot of y'all say a tough fight doesn't get you a rematch, right? A tough loss doesn't get you a rematch. So they're giving her the #1 spot, but really, is she in a position to fight anytime soon against the champ? No, not really, right? So I think right now, Taila Santos, with the position that she's in, she better start calling out somebody like Lauren Murphy or Caitlin Kagan. So, hey, put that fight back on the radar, like I had for Matchmaking Monday, Caitlin Kagan. If you're not going to fight Erin Blanchfield, make it Caitlin Kagan. I mean, that'll stand for something, right? Then her and Manon will have a common opponent, and then maybe Taila and Manon can fight in August or something like that, right? Because at this point, Taila Santos, even though she's #1, like I said, she's not going to be in any position right now to fight Valentina Shevchenko, So I just think that was kind of weird that they elevated her to #1. But, yeah, real quick, looking at the pound-for-pound rankings, I see they haven't changed at the top, and still is Volkanovski, Alexander Volkanovski. I just kind of want to rub that in because a lot of people out here thinking that he didn't do enough to win this fight. But in my opinion, like I said, I think Volk did enough to win the fight. But even if he did take the L in this fight, that doesn't make Islam Makhachev the best fighter in the world, in my opinion. I know people say, even I say it sometimes, to be the best, you got to beat the best. But Islam didn't really beat the best. I mean, he came out on top. He got the decision, but he didn't convincingly beat Volkanovski. He had all he could handle in this fight, in my opinion. I'm not going to lie. I think Volkanovski won the fight. I think Volkanovski showed him some different looks. Islam, he made a good showing, but he didn't beat the guy. He didn't beat him convincingly, and he didn't earn pound for pound number one. So Islam is in the right place at number two under Volkanovski. Volkanovski, you just can't knock this man down to number two. You can't knock him down off the number one spot, off of just one loss, when this guy hasn't lost in almost 10 years. I mean, come on, look at that. Look at that streak. Just pull up his resume. Look at the streak he's been on. Look at the dominant streak he's been on and how long he's held his title. I mean, this guy, he's been holding his own. He's been holding his own. He held his own against Islam, did something other lightweights couldn't do. So you got to give it to him. You just can't knock him off like that, especially if the lightweight champion couldn't beat him convincingly. All right. So if you look at the top five, you got Izzy, number 4, Kamaru Usman, number 3, Leon Edwards, number 2, Islam Makhachev, and of course, pound for pound, number 1 is Alexander Volkanovski. So yeah, that's how I feel about that, guys. I think Volkanovski still deserves his number 1 spot rightfully, and I think the UFC, they agreed with it because they feel strongly that he did win the fight. But at the same time, Islam didn't do enough to knock him off that spot. He didn't do enough to knock him off that spot to say he's pound for pound best. Especially, like I said, when a guy hasn't lost in convincing fashion or even taken a nail since 2013, right? So Volkanovski's still that guy, okay? So, yeah, that's how I feel about that position, Volkanovski and Steele. And, yeah, number 1, Taila Santos. I don't see that. I don't understand that. But let's take a look at the straw weights here real quick, because some of y'all asked me about what's next for the champion, Weili. Well, let's see. Number 10, let's start with the number 10 first off. We got Verna Jandarova. Not much has changed here. Then Amanda Ibas is still number 9, still holding this spot up. And this is the part that kind of annoys me, too, I want to just address with the straw weights and the flyweights right now. We got too many tweeners here. That's why it's kind of hard to decide what's going to happen in the division. When you got Amanda Ibas and Jessica Andrade and Cynthia Calvillo and possibly Tatiana Suarez at some point, who might get ranked if she beat DLR or somebody else, you're going to have these girls taking up rankings in both the strawweight division and the flyweight division. So you're going to be like, okay, well, who's Ibas going to fight? I mean, Ibas is number 9 here, but who can we match her up against? Oh, we can't, because she's fighting Viviane Araújo. You know what I mean? So with Ibas holding this spot at number 9, it's just kind of like a placeholder, so you can't really say much about her here or even match her up. It's just kind of like a holdup to me right now, because there's so many doing it, so many tweeners. Number 8, of course, is Tisha Torres, who's pregnant. She won't be coming back anytime soon. So that's 2. Mackenzie Dern's number 7. And here's the third one, Jessica Andrade, who's number 6. She's eyeing a title shot at strawweight, but she's still continuing her move at flyweight, right? Again, respect to her for answering the call, but it's weird, right? She's beating flyweight contenders here, and, she's continued to fight these flyweight contenders, but she's asking for a title shot at strawweight. Very weird, right? Just weird stuff going on right now in WMMA. But yeah, with her at number 6, she's not lined up to fight anybody. She's going to fight at strawweight. She's going to be fighting Aaron Blanchfield in a few days, right? Number 5, we have Yan Xiaonan. 4 is Marina Rodriguez. Hopefully, Rose Namajunas gets matched up with one of these fighters. Number 3 is Amanda Lemos. Hopefully, Amanda Lemos gets her title shot, because that's the only fight I want to see right now for Zhang Weili. Rose Namajunas in number 2. I don't know when she's coming back, guys, so don't ask me anymore. Number 1 is Carla Esparza. Is Carla still going to fight? I don't know. Carla versus Jessica Andrade was kind of an interesting fight, but with that on the back burner for now, we don't know what's up with Carla. Zhang Weili, she's training. She's getting ready for something. Nothing's been named for her, but I think she's looking to come back sometime this summer, which is not a bad idea. You know, I like whenever Zhang Weili comes back in like June, you know, she kind of sets it off. If she can fight 2 times this year, you know, June and December, I'm cool with that. You know, Zhang Weili in the summertime always makes for some good fights. I mean, I would love it in March or April, but if they solidify Lemos in June, hey, I'm tuning in. I'm tuning in, you know, regardless. So yeah, that's what it looks like with strawweight. Nothing really big between the top 5 right now. Hopefully they do something with Zhang Weili. Hopefully they do some with some of these other fighters. Hopefully we can get some more new blood into the top 15 at some point, guys. But let me know what y'all think. Like, moving Taila Santos up to #1, what's the purpose in that? Is there really a purpose? Let me know in the comment section, guys. Do y'all agree with Volkanovski still #1 pound for pound? Y'all ready for Zhang Weili to come back in June against Lemos? I am. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.